Hello friends, my name is Catherine and welcome to Storytime. Let's start with our welcome song. Welcome, 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 welcome. How are you? How are you? Very well, thank you. Very well, thank you. How about you? How about you? Welcome friends. So why don't we start today's story time with this song called Three Little Birds. I like to sing this one a lot. Here we go. Don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Woke up this morning, smiled with the rising sun. Three little birds pitched by my doorstep, singing sweet songs of melodies pure and true, saying, "This is my message to you." Here we go. Don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing's gonna be alright. Don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing's gonna be alright. Thank you for singing with me, friends. Let's read our first story of the day, and this one is all about a character who has a lot of worries. So why don't we see what he does with them? It's called After the Fall.
After the Fall, how Humpty Dumpty got back up again. A story by Dan Santat. My name is Humpty Dumpty. This was my favorite spot, high up on the wall. I know it's an odd place for an egg to be, but I loved being close to the birds. Then one day, I fell. I'm sort of famous for that part. Folks called it the Great Fall, which sounds a little grand. It was just an accident, but it changed my life. Fortunately, all the king's men managed to put me back together. Well, most of me. There were some parts that couldn't be healed with bandages and glue. After that day, I became afraid of heights. I was so scared that it kept me from enjoying some of my favorite things. I walked past the wall every day, and I would think about climbing that ladder again. I really missed the birds and being high above the city, but I could never do it, because I knew that accidents can happen. I eventually settled for watching the birds from the ground. It wasn't the same, but it was better than nothing. Then one day, an idea flew by. Making planes was harder than I thought. It was easy to get cuts and scratches, but day after day I kept trying and trying until I got it just right. My plane was perfect, and it flew like nothing could stop it. I hadn't felt that happy in a long time. It wasn't the same as being up in the sky with the birds, but it was close enough. Unfortunately, accidents happen. They always do. I almost walked away again, but then I thought about the time I'd spent working on my plane and all the other things I'd missed. I decided I was going to climb that wall. But the higher I got, the more nervous I felt. I didn't want to admit it. I was terrified. I didn't look up, I didn't look down. I just kept climbing, one step at a time. until I was no longer afraid. Maybe now you won't think of me as the egg who was famous for falling. Hopefully you'll remember me as the egg who got back up. And learned how to fly. The end.
Thank you to our guest reader, Myra. I hope you enjoyed that story. Now, in this story, it featured Humpty Dumpty, who's somebody you all might know from Nursery Rhymes. Why don't we sing some nursery rhymes together right now? Let's start with Humpty Dumpty. Here we go. Do hey diddle diddle next. Okay, here we go. Hey diddle diddle, the cat and the fiddle, the cow jumped over the moon, and the little dog laughed to see such sport. The dish ran away with the spoon. Just one more time. Hey diddle diddle, the cat and the fiddle, the cow jumped over the moon, and the little dog laughed to see such sport. The dish ran away with the spoon. Let's do one more nursery rhyme. And this might give you a clue. Let's do Hickory Dickory. Here we go. Hickory dickory dock, the mouse ran up the clock. The clock struck 1, 1. The mouse ran down, hickory dickory dock, and the mouse scurried back over. Hickory dickory dock, the mouse ran up the clock. The clock struck 2, 1, 2. The mouse went boo! Hickory dickory dock, hickory dickory dock, the mouse ran up the clock. The clock struck 3, 1, 2, 3. The mouse went wee! Hickory dickory dock, and scurry back over again. Hickory dickory dock, the mouse ran up the clock. The clock struck 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. The mouse said no more. Hickory dickory dock. Thank you for doing those nursery rhymes with me, friends. And let's read one more story. Since we just did a rhyme about a mouse, I thought we'd end with a story about a mouse. It's called Tilly and the Wall by Leo Leone. The wall had been there ever since the mice could remember. They never paid attention to it. They never asked themselves what was on the other side, nor, for that matter, if there were another side at all. They went about their business as if the wall didn't exist. The mice loved to talk. They chatted endlessly about this and that, but no one ever mentioned the wall. Only Tilly, the youngest, would stare at it, wondering about the other side. At night, while the others were asleep, she would lie in her bed of straw wide awake, imagining beyond the wall a beautiful, fantastic world inhabited by strange animals and plants.
We must see the other side,
she told her friends.
Let's try to climb.
They tried, but as they climbed, the wall seemed higher and higher. With a long, rusty nail, they tried to make a hole to peep through it.
It is only a question of patience,
said Tilly. But after working an entire morning,
they gave up, exhausted, without having made even a dent in the hard stone.
The wall must end somewhere,
Tilly said. They walked and walked for many hours. The wall apparently had no end. But one day, not far from the wall, Tilly saw a worm digging itself into the black earth. How could she not have thought of that before? Why hadn't anyone thought of that before? Full of excitement, Tilly began to dig. She dug and she dug. Until suddenly, almost blinded by the brilliant sunlight, she was on the other side of the wall. She couldn't believe her eyes. Before her were mice, regular mice. The mice gave Tilly a great welcome party. They took her to their celebration pebble. Had she seen that before somewhere? They made speeches in her honor and waved flags. Then they decided to go through Tilly's tunnel to see for themselves what the other side was like. One by one they followed Tilly. And when the mice on Tilly's side of the wall saw what Tilly had discovered, there was another party. The mice threw confetti. Everyone shouted, "Tilly, Tilly, Tilly!" And they carried Tilly high in the air in triumph. Since that day, the mice go freely from one side of the wall to the other, and they always remember that it was Tilly who first showed them the way. The end. I hope you enjoyed that story. Now we've come to the end of story time, so let's sing our farewell song. We wave goodbye like this. We wave goodbye like this. We clap our hands for all our friends. We wave goodbye like this. Thank you for coming, friends, and I'll see you next time.